In this video, we'll be learning about controllers in Laravel. So basically, controllers are where we write our logic for the program. So let's see how we can create and write a controller. So we can use this command php artisan make controller space the name of the controller. So you can use this command to create a controller. So let's see that. Now this is the continuation of a previous video. If you haven't watched the video, it was about routes in Laravel. So you can watch that. I will give the link on the description and you can check that out. So here we can see that we are having a Laravel project and we are having some routes here. So right now we can remove all these routes because we don't need this anymore. We use this route to learn about routes in Laravel. So let's remove them. So open the terminal. And here we can type the command php artisan make controller space, and then you can give the name of the controller. So let's say we are going to create a control for authentication, managing all login, sign up, etc. activities. So auth controller. And you can hit enter. So you can see the controller has successfully created and the location is this one. Okay, inside app http controllers, and then you can see the file. So let's go to that. Here inside the app folder, you can see we are having a folder here, app. So inside the folder app, you can see another folder that is http. Inside that, we can see the controllers. And this is the file that we just created, authcontroller.php. So let's open this file. And here you can see our controller. So we are having a PHP opening. And then we are having a namespace here. And then we are actually importing one class that is request. We are having a use statement, illuminate HTTP request. So most probably we will be using this request throughout the project. So that's why it is already added. But right now it is not used. That's why it is in gray. See, it is not used right now. Okay, and we are having a class auth controller, one which we created, and it is extending controller. So this controller is a class created by Laravel. So inside this class, we can create methods according to our needs. So right now we can create a method, public function index, and we can return some string value for now. So return this is index page. Okay, so when we call this index function, it will return this message. Okay, so we can see how we are going to call this function. So now we can go to our routes. Inside the routes, we can see web.php. Okay, we are not opening api.php for now. We can go to that later on. So right now you can go to web.php. So you can actually remove this comments so that it will be more visible for you. And here we can create a route get. So if you are not having the use statement for route on the top, you can type this manually. Okay, this is the use statement for route. It should be from illuminate support brackets. Inside that you can see the route class. Okay, route, we are going to create a get method, and inside that we can specify slash, which is the home page, and give a comma. Now we can specify the controller and the function name. So we have to create an array. Inside the array, we can specify the controller, that is auth controller. So you can see this is our controller, app/http controllers. So you have to make sure that you are selecting the correct controller. So select that, and you have to give class. Okay, and here we can click here. If you are using PHP Storm, you can click here and type alt plus enter, and you can use this to add it to the top like this. Okay, and it will look much cleaner. So that's why I changed the use statement to the top. If you're using any other IDE, there will be shortcuts, but it will be different. So you can check that on Google, or you can manually type it to the top like this. Okay, and now we can call the function name. So give a comma, and here inside we can call index. So the function name is index. Okay, so that's it, and give a semicolon here. Okay, so now we are having a route get, and it is calling the slash, which is the home page, the default page, and we are calling the function index. Okay, so you can open this function directly from this page by using click the control and use the mouse to click this inside PHP Storm. Okay, so if you're using VS Code, these shortcuts will be completely different. Okay, so you can see this is our function, and it should return this is index page. Okay, so let's see what happens. So let's run the application and check. So in order to run the application, we can open terminal, and here we can type PHP artisan serve. And you can see it has started. So let's open this. Okay, now you can see this is our home page, direct page, and you can see it is saying this is index page. Okay, let's try changing the route to something like blog or /login. Okay, for now you can use /login. So let's change that. So let's minimize the terminal, and let's change the slash to /login. Okay, so now when you access /login, it will call this function. Okay, so now we have seen how to pass a simple string. So let's go to the controller again, go to top, HTTP controllers and the file. And now we can see how to pass a view from the controller. So simply change this, and you can call the function view. Okay, inside that we can give the name of the view file. So let's go to our resources, and here we can see inside the views we are having welcome.blade.php. So let's call welcome here. So we don't have to use blade.php every time. So just simply call welcome here, and it will run automatically. So inside welcome we are having okay, so this will show error because we have removed the routes which we created earlier. So for now we can do something like h1, and let's say welcome. That's it. Okay, now we can try running it. So now we are inside the home page, and if you try to refresh this page, you can see a page not found error. See, because we have removed the route. So the route right now is /login, and if you type that, you can see welcome. See, that's all, very simple. So now we can go to our Laravel documentation. So we have seen how to create a controller, and we have seen how to create a function also. So after that, we can see how we can do this. Okay, so we can see how to pass a value like this through the URL. So let's see that. We earlier see on routes we can do this. So just like that, we can also do this inside the controller also. So if you want to receive a value from the route, so let's say create a new route for this. Okay, so you can create a new route, and let's change /login to /user. Okay, and then we are going to receive ID of the user. Okay, and we can create a new function, maybe something like user, and inside this controller we have to create a function user. Open it, and here if you want to receive the value that we are going to pass here inside the controller, inside the function, you can specify $ anything. You can specify any variable here. So if you want to keep it to user ID, you can keep it like this. Okay. So now we will receive this value here. Okay. Because we are calling this function inside the controller, we are calling this function when we access this route, and it is a get method. Okay. So let's see that. So we can try return $user ID. Okay. So it will return that ID that we are going to pass. So let's try running it. So here you can go to login, and we can change the route /user/ then we can give some ID like 1. See, now you can see 1 here. Hope it is visible for you. So that's it. So whatever you give after user/ if you give something like this, it will print here. Okay. Hope you remember that we discussed how to give restrictions. So if you want to see that, you can go back to the video about routes and watch it. Okay. So that's it. Now we can go to the documentation and explore more. Okay, now we can see about single action controllers. So before discussing single action controllers, let's see one more scenario. So let's see we want to receive one more value after this ID. So you can simply pass another value like this. And let's say it is name. So for this example, we are going to use it like this. Okay. So we are receiving ID and name. And inside this user function, you can go to the function controllers. You can give a comma. And you can receive the username like this. Okay. You don't have to use a username exactly like this. There is no naming constraints. You have to follow the order in which you are giving here. Okay. So the first one we are going to pass is ID. So here you will only be getting ID. And the second one is name. And the second one you will be getting is name. That's all. You simply have to follow the order you are giving here. And that's it. So we can try printing this also. Okay. $username. Okay. Let's try running it. Let's come here and we can refresh the page. Before refreshing, you have to give one more slash here because the route has changed. If you try to refresh this page right now, it will show page not found because we have to add one more slash and give the name of the user. Let's say, and hit enter. See, now we are getting ID and then the name also. So that's it. Hope you understand. So now we can go to the single action controllers. So if you scroll down further, you can see this command. You simply have to add -- invocable when you are creating the controller like this, and it will automatically become like this. It will automatically create this function, add this function _ invoke. So when you are calling this controller, you can call it like this. Okay. You simply don't have to call the function because it is only having one function. So you have to create this invocable single action controller when you are only having one function inside a controller. So let's say you simply want to perform one single action when you are calling this specific controller, then you can use this function and do it like this. Okay. I will show you an example. So let's go to the editor. So you can either use that command like I showed you, PHP artisan make controllers -- invocable, or you can directly remove this function and you can call _ invocable, and you can see this is the function. Now this is a single action controller and we have to remove this route. Let's comment this route for now. And now we are only having one route. Okay. And you don't have to call the function because there is no specific function inside. And you can remove the array because there is no function. And that's it. Okay. So now we are actually calling this controller and it will return whatever we are going to return inside this. Okay. So let's say return okay. So let's try running. To run this, we can type /login and hit enter. And you can see it is working properly. So that's it. So our next topic is controller middlewares. So you can actually add middlewares like this. Hope we discussed this on the previous video when we discuss about routes. So we will go to this in detail on coming videos. So we are going to skip this. So you can actually read this and understand some about it. You can simply create a constructor inside the class like this. So you are creating a constructor inside PHP like this. Okay, this is the function to create a constructor. And inside that we can call the middleware. And this is the middleware for checking if the user is logged in or not. Okay, so this is a default one which Laravel is already having. So you can check it. You can try running this by yourself. Simply try adding a middleware auth and a middleware guest. So guest means you don't have to log in. Auth means you have to log in. Okay, that's all. So since you are not having a /login or authentication implemented, you might get error. So don't worry. So you can simply try it. That's all. It will not allow you to access that particular route. That's all. Okay. And if you're adding it to the controller, whatever function that is inside this controller will apply this middlewares that you are going to specify here. And if you are adding it to the route, only that particular route will have this middleware applied. Okay. So hope you understand that. You can try running few multiple functions and explore it yourself. On coming videos, we'll be checking this in detail. So don't worry. So the next thing that we are going to check is resource controllers. So basically we are having CRUD operations, create, read, update, and delete for doing almost everything. So Laravel is having a particular structure that you can use to create your controllers and all easily. So you simply have to use this -- resource while creating the controller. That's all. So let's try creating it. So now we are going to create a new controller. So let's open the terminal. Okay, we can create one more terminal here. Okay, and here we can type PHP artisan make controller, and then we can give the name of the controller and -- resource, and you can hit enter. Now you can see the resource controller is created. So let's go to the folder app http controller, and you can see the file blog controller.php. Inside that, now if you open this, you can see we are having index function, create function, store function, show function, edit, update, and destroy. So by default, we are having the structure for creating all this. So you can actually create index. By index, you simply can create a displaying page to display maybe a list of blog, or since it is for blog, you can list a list of blogs, and from there you can create, delete, edit options. So hope you understand that. You simply have to follow along watching the next coming videos, because we are going to discuss this in detail on coming videos. Go to the Laravel documentation, and if you scroll down, you can see how to add route for this. Okay, so by default, we are going to have, if you scroll down, you can see this one. By default, if you're going to add the route like this, we'll be having all these routes. Okay, this much. So we'll be having / whatever that we are going to give here. If we are going to give photos, you'll be having /photos, and you'll be having /create. So /photos is going to call the index function. Okay, and /photos /create is going to call the create function, and you are also going to get name for the route by default. So you can call these functions using these names. Okay, these are default names that you are going to get. You can also customize them. So you can simply scroll down and you can see how you can customize the name. So if you scroll down, you can see how to name it and all. See, if you can simply explore the documentation and you can understand that. So let's continue with this. And here we can see we are going to get a post request, and it is going to call store. And this is the default structure that you are going to get, and you can utilize this. So let's try adding the route. So you can come here, and you can see this is how we have to add the route. So let's go to the editor, and here we can go to the route web.php, and now we can create a new route resource. Then we can give the URL, that is, we can give it something like blog, give a comma, and blog controller dot class. And you can click here and type alt enter. If you are using Base Wisdom, you can do this, and it will add the controller to the top. Okay, simply add this line to the top, and you can use it like this. Okay, and give a semicolon. That's it. So now we are going to have the routes that we saw earlier. So let's try running those. So it will be blog slash. So let's try running the blog first of all. So let's go to the Chrome, and here on the documentation we can scroll to the list. So you can see we will be having slash blog. Let's try running that slash blog, and it will call the index function. So you can see it is blank because we haven't returned anything. So let's go to the editor, and let's open the controller, and we can return some string for each function, so we can identify it. Now when we are calling index, it will return index. And we can actually look into all the other functions in detail on coming videos, because we have to use post, because we have to discuss it in detail if you want to go through all this. So we'll be seeing that in detail on coming videos. I think we will be creating a dedicated video for a resource controller. So let's see that. So right now we can try running this. So if you want to check it, you can simply try running. So whatever get routes that you can see on the documentation, let's go to the documentation. So here we can see we are having this one as get, this is also get, and this is get, and that's it. So whatever get request, you can actually view it using the Chrome, like giving slash, giving the route. So here also you can give something like slash blog slash create, and it will call the function, and you can simply return something and check it. So basically here what we will do is we might create a form so that we can insert some values. So we will be checking that in detail on coming videos. So here also we can try, hope you remember that we created a route like this before. So you can try that out by passing some value here and printing it out. So that's it. That is a resource controller. You can actually try messing around, and you'll learn more about it when we are going to discuss this in detail. So let's go to the next part. So we'll be seeing one more thing. Let's say we are going to have a URL like slash user slash, let's say, ID. Okay, if you are going to have a URL like this, and then you decided to create one more URL slash user slash create. And let's say we are going to create functions for this. So for that you can go to this controller, and we have to remove this invoke function from here. Okay, let's change it to index, and we can set it to index. Okay, so we are going to create. Okay, let's change the name to create. Okay, create, and we can, this is create. Okay, we are going to return like this. So we are going to call this function here. So change it to an array, give a comma, and inside that we are going to call the function create. Okay, now for this one we are going to create another function. So let's copy this one, and we can paste it below, and we can change it to something like user. These functions are for testing and learning, that's all. So let's change it to, again, change it to the function name so we can identify which is called. And we are also passing the ID, so we can print that also. Let's get the ID here. And we can give a dot operator. And okay, we can actually pass it here, $ID. Okay, so it will also print the ID that we are going to pass. Okay, so let's call the function here. So we have to change it to an array. And we can call the function that is user ID. Okay, so that's it. So okay, so let's try running this and I will show you what will happen. So if you're trying to access this route, it will not work. So let's see that. So let's try accessing this route. So come here and we can type /user, give a slash here, /user/create, and again hit enter. And here we can see we are getting this is user ID and create. Okay, because we are getting this value here. That means that our function create is not getting invoked. And let's try passing some ID here. And it is also accessing the function that is user ID. Okay, so I will show you what is happening. So go to the IDE and let's try changing this from here to top. Now if you try to access it, both the URLs will work. Because if you are having this indentation and then you are trying to access something like this after that, then it will not work, because whatever that you are going to pass after user is going to be dictated as ID here. You can also specify some constraints here, and that will also prevent this. Since we are not having any constraints, it will not prevent that. So you simply have to put this URL, this route to the top, that's all. And this one to the bottom. So now this will work and this will also work. So let's try that. So now we can try passing an ID. So let's refresh this page and it is working. So let's try /create and hit enter. And now the function create is invoking. See, hope you understand that. So that's all with the controllers for this video. You can explore the Laravel documentation. I'll give the link for this on description and you can read everything in detail, and it is having much more data inside. So you can learn more. We'll be definitely going to learn more about controllers in the coming videos. So hope you understand how we can create and modify controllers in Laravel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more such videos.